I'd like to introduce to you Angel Crespo. He's a plant manager, like Charity mentioned earlier, of our new factory that we're building here in Huntsville to build missiles. And Angel, I'll let you tell a little more about yourself. Why don't you come up front?
Up front, okay, right.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. So yeah, I'm Angel Crespo, new plant manager for Raytheon Redstone operations here inside the arsenal. Very new to Huntsville, probably 2 months, not even.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
And Huntsville welcome.
I appreciate it, I appreciate it. Actually, that's how I feel about Huntsville. Everybody's been extremely nice so far.
You'll only ever get nice from here.
No, that's good, that's good. So again, Raytheon Redstone, actually we're opening in about 2 weeks officially to start operations. We get approval from Raytheon company to operate this Wednesday, and that's knocking on wood. We got a lot of work going on right now, so I gotta get back to the shop after this. But big expansion for Raytheon company, great news to be here, and a great place to be, okay, as a science and engineering company that we are. Okay, so very exciting times. As you probably know, the proliferation of rogue nations working in ballistic missile weaponry requires MDA particularly to develop weapons, defense weapons, right, for our nation.
And MDA is?
Missile Defense Agency, right? It's one of our key main customers. And they're headquartered right here in the arsenal. So it makes sense for us to be partnering and being close to the MDA. And at the same time, bring integration of the weapons that we're going to be fabricating right here to deter the ballistic missile threat that this country is facing and our allies are facing. So therefore, we were looking for locations around the nation. We explored more than 23 locations actually to base this operation, and the arsenal here in Huntsville was the clear winning solution, okay? For many, many reasons, but there is a lot of good stuff happening here in Huntsville, a lot of talent, and actually that kind of brings us then into what we're here today, I think, which is explain the commitment that Raytheon is making in partnering with the local community and the Rocket Center in terms of science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM as some of us call it, right? Don't know if you know, but Raytheon has actually already invested about $60 million in the STEM campaign. And Math Alive, which is the exhibit we got here, is actually, I think, the second biggest exhibit that we put in terms of STEM promotion. The first one was Some of All Thrills, which is at the Epcot Center. I've participated and been there twice. I've been fortunate enough. And it is a thrill. So if you haven't done that, I highly encourage you to go and visit. It's a lot of fun. This exhibit, Math Alive, I understand, is getting kicked off here, which is a great place to launch it from. But in the next 3 years, I think we're going to visit about 10 major cities in the United States. So a great thing that I think our company is promoting and putting out there, and I'm just proud to be part of the team, of the Raytheon team. So moving into the facility, what are we doing here? I guess I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you about that. Told you what we do. You know, Raytheon is a defense contractor for the most part. Specific to Raytheon Redstone, again, we're focusing on the MDA customer and their needs in terms of defense systems for the ballistic missile threat that is up there. We started construction of this site in June of 2011. Construction is not quite done yet, so it's kind of a catch-22. We're getting approval to start, but we're not quite done. My boss is not that happy about that, but that's not your problem, so I assume. But anyway, that's where we are. We will likely finish construction, I want to say around the week of Thanksgiving, and then we open to the public and the community 11/26, so the Monday after Thanksgiving. So no Thanksgiving for Angel. That's what that means. Okay, but having said that, it's been quite a challenging, but at the same time fun year. It's hard to build a whole factory, a whole site, in about a year and a quarter, and somehow we've managed to do that. A lot of credit to that goes actually to Huntsville as a community. And the reason for that is, one thing I'm learning quickly as a new Huntsvillian, if I may say that, it's that this local community has a lot of great contractors, a lot of people very ingrained in science and engineering type professions, which of course we need as a company. The nation needs that as well, okay, because it's a national security issue, which I'll get to in a minute. But as a company, it's good to come to a place where the contracting pool out there is actually very professional, widely available. Our contractor, general contractor, if you mind, in charge of the construction is Brasfield and Gorey, who's a kind of a renowned contractor here in the South. And if I had to do this all over again, I would absolutely go with Brasfield and Gorey again. Those guys are just excellent people to work with. They understand what schedules are, budgets are. So it's very refreshing, and they're going to be done on time. I can guarantee you that. But again, now that we're starting to hire missile technicians and operators at our factory, great place to be. You know, a lot of smart people, trained, skilled people out there, and believe it or not, there is a lot of people here that, with a few training classes and whatnot, can be missile makers. Okay, we're learning that quickly because they have the background, they have the skills, they have the science, they have the math and engineering that we need. So it's a win-win. I mean, so far, as a plant manager, I'm very satisfied with the community for many reasons. I mentioned the welcoming and the warmth. I guess I'm understanding what Southern hospitality is about now. And it's out there, I'll tell you that. So you score on that. But then more than that, you know, beyond that, a trained and a skilled workforce is out there too, okay? So we talk about science, we talk about math, we talk about engineering, because, you know, our president and CEO, our chairman and CEO, Bill Swanson, he's always talking about that in terms of national security. You know, by 2040, the United States is only going to produce about 30 or 40% of the required engineering workforce in this country. That's about 2040, so that's less than 30 years away, right? So what that means is there is going to be a high demand of engineers out there, scientists out there, that we don't produce in our school systems. Well, it's not that we don't have the people, it's not that we don't have the institutions. It's just that people are not getting motivated and incentivized to go and pursue a career in math, science, or engineering. That's what we're here for, okay? And that's our commitment as a company. The Rocket Center is absolutely doing a fantastic job on that, and that's how those partnerships are happening. We need more of that, though. Again, in 2040 right now, the trend is about 40% of the talent in engineering and science is homegrown. The other 60 DVD, right? Where does it come from? We don't know. We do know a few things. India as a nation, China as a nation, they don't have the problem we have now. In fact, they're at the other end of the spectrum. They are producing talent. Can we give a security clearance to a Chinese citizen to work in our factories? Absolutely not. So those don't solve that problem. So we need to solve that nationally, okay? We all know this. Our institutions are world class. The Chinese, people from India, people from all over the world come here to get their degrees, right? So what's up with that, okay? Well, the institutions are there. We need people to go through the programs. We need to incentivize that, okay? So that's why I believe on this mission. I believe that Math Alive is just a great instance on how we're trying to promote that. And I'm glad to see that Raytheon Company is not doing it alone. You need to partner for these things. You know, you need to partner with the schools. You need to motivate the kids. Otherwise, you don't have your customers, right, for these programs, because they're the ones that need to go in. And we need to treat kids as customers. Otherwise, we're not going to get the people and the talent that we need. Yes?
Y'all going to be working with the school systems, Amy?
Yeah. In fact, we actively, this year, actually, for the last 2 years, I believe, Raytheon has been, I want to say, the platinum sponsor for Math Counts. Mm-hmm. So Math Counts is a program at least 30 years in place, and I happen to know that because I was a math athlete through Math Counts when I went through the 7th and 8th grade, I believe, in 9th grade, yep. And I'll tell you what, I believe in this personally. I've always said this. Hadn't been for a program of Math Counts, I would have never, as a kid, made the relation between, you know, what I do math-wise in the classroom. Oh, it kind of ties up into a profession. There are guys out there called engineers, right? As an 8th grader, you probably still don't know what that means, right? Math Counts personally enabled me to make that relation. And I'm an engineer by education. There is not such a thing, no matter what my employees believe, as plant manager school. okay?
Right.
Right, you don't go anywhere to get that education. I wish I could, but no, my background is engineering, and math counts gave me that, I'll tell you that. So we are partnering with school systems all over the nation. I happen to know in Arizona we do a lot of that because that's where I come from before moving to Huntsville, so we do.
So will there be such a camp in, because I have a 6.5-year-old that's very interested in math and everything.
Yeah.
Will there be anywhere in Huntsville? You know, they went all digital this year.
Right, right. You know, for that, Lori, do we have specifics or dug into how does the local community or the local schools can find out schedule activities and whatnot?
Well, we financially, I'm trying to remember, we gave, I believe it was $5,000 for the local math counts competition. The year previously, our facility in Park here in Huntsville hosted it was before I started, but that was the state competition, I believe. And as Angel said, we're one of the main, or the main sponsor for national math counts efforts. You know, if you, I don't know if I have a card on me, but
I can get you Doug's information.
yeah, I can. You can contact me directly. We can talk more about some other programs, efforts, and initiatives. But that's just a quick rundown on some of what we've done. That's a.
She's in a Southwest club right now.
Oh, okay.
In first grade, and she just eats it up.
Good.
We've helped out with.
Like her granddad.
Oh,
And that's when you want to get the interest
Exactly.
started. It's when
Exactly.
they're that
I
young.
mean, she's building robots and.
You know, and you're hitting on something big. Math is fun. Math can be fun. Science is fun. It can be fun. We need to incentivize that, right? Once the kids understand, oh, this is fun. You know, it's not what my other friends told me. That math is not fun, right? Because that's out there. We all know that. And I think Math Alive, I was actually here 2 or 3 weekends ago just to play with the toys myself. I wasn't going to get here in front of you without knowing that. Okay? So put that one out there. And you know, I play with everything down there, and what a way to make it fun, you know. I'm convinced, you know, 6.5 years old, 7-year-olds will come in and say, wow. And then again, make the relationship between, this is the fun part of it, but this is how I had to put my brain to work and get a result out of it.
Yeah.
That's the fun of math. And by the way, I don't think that you'll find an engineer out there like myself that will ever tell you that you don't get a thrill about solving a problem. Okay, so you know, you gotta architect this equation or something to get that result out there. When you get the result, that's the thrill, right? And it's a rush, and you get addicted to that, and that's what we want. Okay, that addiction is a good addiction to have, better than many others. So we need to promote those addictions, those good addictions. But so without further ado, and we'll keep talking, but let's show this video because this video shows you a little bit of the facility that we're building. And then later on, I'm going to talk a little bit of some automation and some very cool technology employment that we put in the factory. We'll show you a second video, okay? So yeah, while it loads, so I mentioned this earlier, the facility is being taken about 14, 15 months in construction. And that's the first video. That's what we're going to see first. It's actually a time lapse of how we built it. So I think here we go.
How many employees?
Right now we're starting with about 40, growing to probably 90. So this is a time lapse. The only thing we didn't show, and you can see how quickly this is coming up. Again, all this stuff has happened in the last 14, 15 months. The only thing you didn't see at the beginning is pine trees. This was popularity of pine trees, which we are going to replace in the arsenal. Okay, so we're good stewards of the environment too. Perfect. So let's stop it right there actually. Okay, that's fine. We can talk to it through again. Yeah, so right now, let's see if we can get to it. And okay. like I said, we got a general contractor, B&G. They took care of pretty much orchestrating the construction. So we didn't have to manage, you know, the plumbers, the electricians, the masonry guys. They did all that for us. Great people to work with. And you can stop it about anywhere right now. That's fine. So the video that you see, the kind of the final stage, doesn't do justice because the facility is now looking like the final stage. We have grass, we have the fences and everything. So it's like I said, it's like 99% complete. We just need approval and the final keys, and we'll be ready. But that's what you saw there is the outer shell, right? That's the facility, how you see it here on the east side of the arsenal. We're located way east by Gate 3, if that makes sense for some. But inside the factory is where the real cool stuff is, okay? So it's the most automated factory, missile factory in the world that we know of. Maybe the bad guys have something out there that we haven't seen, but it cannot be that cool. And when I say it's the most automated factory, pretty much all the hardware movement, which is where, believe it or not, we as a manufacturing entity have a lot of problems, has been automated. So we have robots that move hardware. We have stations that manage all the information that we need to build our systems, and automatically enters that in our what we call our shop floor system, or your manufacturing as-built record keeping. All that is automated. So our humans, as we call ourselves in the factory, because it's a system and we're just an element of the bigger system, humans perform only what I call thinking operations, right? Because we don't want to give that to a machine. We still want to do that. And basically, you make decisions as to, hey, I'm going to start a new product. And you request material to do that new product. Robots will bring that to you. Robots will make sure they bring you the right parts. You don't have to be worried about, did I pick the right parts to assemble this? We took that away. That's automated for the reason of eliminating, you know, mistakes. At the same time, operations that are usually extremely manual and fatigue intense, right? Like carpal tunnel producing operations like torquing screws day in, day out, keyboard stroking, right? Entering data in a system. All that stuff is being automated. We have automated torque controllers that, with a push of a button, torques a screw down, and we do that a lot, and therefore we automated that. Entering a part number, right? To say, hey, I'm working on this circuit card. We don't do that anymore. We have, you know, QRT 2D barcodes. We scan that just like your iPhone can scan that now. So you scan that and it enters that in the computer, so the computer knows what the part number is, and you don't have to do this and save those forearms, right? And at the same time, avoid mistakes like, you know, wrong key entries and whatnot. So we've done that as well. Let's see, we've automated test. Our products are very complex, so we do a lot of testing. Test is automated. For safety reasons, we actually took the human element outside of test. So our products get tested on something we call a test cell, which is very hardened, very protected in the event that something goes wrong and something goes boom, right? Well, we don't want any humans being affected by that. So although we literally work in a bomb factory, the humans in that bomb factory are very safe. We're very protected. And I guess I can say that I work and live there now, so I feel okay going to work. So I think that's a testimonial, right? And that's how we have protected the facility, and at the same time use a lot of technology. So this next video is going to give you a brief of some of those key elements, like automated guided vehicles, which are the robots that I was talking about, some other systems, and we're going to have some of our key employees that work and live with us telling you about it, and then I'll answer questions after.
Not only build, integrate, test, but also recertify Standard Missile 3 and Standard Missile 6 weapons for the missile defense system. So our products are very large and they're very heavy, and they do create situations where we put our operators and the equipment itself and the product in sensitive situations. We have to move things, push things, and lift things, and we have what we call critical lifts. And a critical lift takes a lot of people and a lot of procedures to do that. What we have done with our automated guided vehicles, and our advanced manufacturing technology, we have eliminated virtually all critical lifts, 16 in total, which allows the product to move very smoothly, very safely, without cranes and operators and a lot of critical lifting throughout the factory.
One of the primary designs of the AGV system is that it's designed to co-locate with our operators. By that, what I mean is it has a 360-degree perimeter continuously monitoring anybody approaching the vehicle. So should I approach the vehicle, it would automatically stop. Likewise, as soon as the vehicle begins to start again, that if I reach in to grab something, it doesn't allow it to move.
This is really the first large missile automated factory from an affordable, safe, high mission assurance type application. This is the only way to do it. Defense program.
All right.
Feels exciting.
So you saw Travis there walking next to the vehicle. That vehicle that he was next to is a 10-footer AGV, automated guided vehicle. We also have a big pop, as we call it, it's 24 feet. The vehicle weighs 8 tons, so 16,000 pounds. And these things move next to you kind of like a dog. Yeah, it feels like you're walking with a pet. They move at 80 feet per second, which pretty much means you're walking quite slow. It kind of moves at this pace that I'm walking right now, and you feel like you're walking with a very old pet. That's what you feel like. And again, this pet weighs 16,000 pounds, and he's carrying something that weighs about 8,500 pounds. So combined, you're talking 25,000 pounds is moving next to you. And he's extremely subtle, extremely smart. Basically, you saw Travis at about 3 feet from the vehicle. I don't know if you noticed that in the beginning. At about 3 feet, the vehicle knows somebody's walking next to me. So I'm just going to be watching for this somebody, okay? But he's going to keep doing his thing. At about 2 feet, the vehicle literally slows down to like a way slower pace. And it also flashes some lights indicating, the way I see it, it's like, hey dude, you're too close for comfort, okay? And then if you interrupt 12 inches within, it just flat out is going to stop and say, there is something unsafe happening. So you can walk next to them, again, 3 feet or more, no problem. The vehicle knows you're there, but it's not going to do anything. After you start getting into the 3 or the 2 feet encroachment, it's going to talk to you. It's going to communicate by lights and sounds. And then at 12 inches, it's going to just flat out stop, and which again is an element of human safety. But the critical thing is, these vehicles do an amazing job for us. They move hardware, again, weighing about 25,000 pounds, that in the past required 4 people to push carts on. Think about that. You're pushing 25,000 pounds, with human power. So it's a lot of strain on your body, right? But not only that, you require 4 people doing that. Well, that's cost that I pass to you, because you're the taxpayer just like I am, right? You gotta pay for that labor. So we're saving that. And in the budgets that we're living in, right, that's an advantage. We need to do more of that. So this factory was baseline or framed to go and achieve those purposes. More importantly, is the assurance of the product quality. These systems eliminate the possibility of hardware drops. Because, dropping one of those things, I'm the first one running out the door. So we don't want that, and therefore these vehicles do things like that, okay? There is way many more benefits, and that video again highlighted more the robotics of how we move hardware. I mentioned automatic torque controllers, I mentioned 2D barcodes, I mentioned automatic data entry. Haven't mentioned Wi-Fi. We actually have a Wi-Fi network inside the factory that pretty much enables all these toys to communicate with us, okay? It's pretty cool.
Did you say toys? Did you call them toys?
Oh, yeah, I do. I'm a guy, I like toys, right? Can't help it, can't help it. Yeah, I mean, pets, toys, that's how we got it. We gotta keep it fun, but any questions on that? Comments?
That's very cool.
I appreciate it, I appreciate it.
That's very cool because this is the way that you're leading the way to show what other types of manufacturing can and should be doing in order to make money and save money.
And save money at the same time.
And to save humans for what humans are made for, and using the right tool for the job.
Absolutely.
I've been at KSC, and I've been there with the director, NASA who had to climb into one of these great big moving things to see how to move the shuttle from one place to another as they're decommissioned. And they're crawling around inside, and he was telling me when he gets out, he says, yeah, they're in there talking about how they're going to move this thing, because we haven't figured that out yet. And granted, the shuttle is a little bigger than than the missiles, but it's the same idea.
It is.
You know, these technologies can be transferred to new manufacturing. It's going to be, you're leading the way, and it's another way that we can benefit by weapons development.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you, one thing I wanted to also tee up with you is we are again in a great place. One of the reasons this company came in, but I'm starting to see more in the news about the Constellation program, you know, the new NASA program actually to take us back to space, right? I'm very unhappy right now with the fact that we're going to the International Space Station on a Russian vehicle, okay? If you were alive at some point in the Cold War, and I was, that should just shake your bones, right? It does.
Yeah.
And then, right, if your grandfather is alive and went through the Cold War beginnings and then, you know, all the way through Germany in 1989, all this stuff, they just flat out don't accept that, you know? And rightly so, they shouldn't. So I think we need to go back to space. I'm really hoping the administration completes the promises on getting NASA funded to go back and finish the Constellation and the Orion program. We absolutely need that. That's a national imperative. And guess what? That's all being developed right here at the Marshall Center at NASA here in the Arsenal. So what a great place to be. Huntsville, I think Huntsville gave the human race the rocket. Well, it's about to give it the next round of rockets to go upward again, and that needs to happen here. So it's a great place to be, and I feel that the way we're doing that gotta happen. But we absolutely gotta have our kids in our school systems involved from a motivational standpoint, so they feel like, okay, those programs are gonna be there for 30, 50 years. What am I gonna do as I grow up and get smarter and get more involved such that I'm one of those guys, you know, working those things later when I finally get to go work and pay taxes. You know, gotta get that motivation out there. And I believe the time is now. I honestly feel what we're about to go as a nation, especially with the Constellation and Orion programs, is exactly what happened in the 70s, you know, when the shuttle was being developed. You know, what a visionary time, right? 60s and 70s, going to the shuttle and start flying in like late 70s and early 80s. The same is about to happen. We're just, as a nation, I don't think we have realized that. But it's already here, it's happening. We just need to somehow, and I think this is one of the somehows, ingrain that into our school systems, like you were saying. The toys are out there. You know, we're doing the Constellation. We got factories like this that we absolutely can put at the disposal of that mission. And in fact, we are, because we're here. But somehow we need to devise the strategies and set the action plans to go do that. So with that, I think my time is up. But unless you guys have any more questions, or yeah.
So your workforce size of your plant compared to other plants of similar size, is it smaller because of all the automation?
Yeah, I would say, well, we do more with less. There is no question about that. It's part of the strategy. However, we do more for less, which really means we hire actually about the same proportion that we do in other facilities like this, but our humans do more, okay? We do more human thinking, we do more decision making than just human labor, okay? Because we automated a lot of that. So I think if Henry Ford was alive right now, right, he would be like, wow, I can actually do the automation of factories in the brain organ rather than the arms, right? That was big for Henry Ford. So we are at that next stage of industrial revolution in my mind, and we're just one example of that.
Well, having Redstone here must have been a big draw for y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Redstone helped a lot. You know, so I gotta say this, when you go around the nation, right, and you talk to the local governments, and you say, guess what, I'm the Raytheon guy, I need a place to do a missile factory. Some people look at you weird. And they kind of don't get it. You come to the Arsenal, however, and talk to the garrison commander and say, hey, we're looking for a place to put a missile factory. Oh, we've had those for 50 years here. Yeah, let's talk about that. So that's one of the things that got us, coming here. Infrastructure-wise, again, making rockets in the arsenal is no news, right? So that's kind of what we do. Our rockets are not rockets, they're missiles, which means they're smart rockets. I had to put that out there. But you can actually deal with that in the arsenal. And transportation, logistics, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is some trivia out there. The arsenal is actually one of the few facilities in the country that you can still transport whatever by the 4 ways. Water, we got the Tennessee River; air, they got airstrips; highway, of course; and then rail. In case of national emergencies, the DoD will actually do rail transportation. We don't do that anymore because we don't have to, because we have the best highway system in the world, thanks to Dwight Eisenhower. But we have it, but if we needed a railroad system again to transport weaponry and whatever, we can, and the arsenal has the ways to do it. So our customers, for us, demand that we actually look into those things. Well, the arsenal had it. So it's a big selling point for our customers. So there is a lot of details like that. I mean, I can be talking about this for like 2 hours on why it makes sense to come here. And now that we're here, at the end of the day, my opinion, is the people factor. Again, trained community, skilled community in the kind of trades that we need, but it's also the welcoming and the warmth. This city works very well with businesses. And if you think sometimes that they don't, that's okay. Most city governments sometimes have some flaws and whatnot. I can tell you, I can compare, some local government here with other local governments. You guys have it good, I'll tell you that. So it's a good thing, yeah.
Where are all these missiles going?
They go everywhere. The MDA, Missile Defense Agency, is pretty much our key customer today. But the MDA doesn't fight wars, right? They just procure, they develop, they procure, and they allocate. The Navy, for the most part, takes the products, like Standard Missile 6. They're deployed military-wise by the U.S. Navy. So, as you well know, the U.S. Navy is pretty much everywhere, right? That's one of the strengths we have. So our products go in the fleet, destroyers, whatnot, and they're ready to go and face the mission.
Are they replacing some that were there before?
We're always upgrading. SM-6 is a fairly new missile. We're actually going through the 3rd initial production. We've probably had SM-6s for the last 2 or 3 years. It's a very, very young weapon system. Doesn't replace a previous weapon. It just literally brings new capability to the warfighter, to the U.S. Navy. Yeah. SM-3 has been out there for a while, probably longer than SM-6, but only in initial capability. SM-3 is one of the key weapons, if not the key weapon, for the phase adaptive approach to the ballistic missile defense. So the way we're doing that is we're developing the weapon with capability A, right? And then once we feel comfortable with the capabilities and achieving those, we stretch it again and go B. And now we probably go farther or wider, whatever you wanna use as an example. And then once we feel comfortable on that, then we go again and again and again. And that's why it's called phase adaptive approach. The President Obama, when he came into office in 2008, about 2008, 2009, he put into effect that phase adaptive approach and gave SM-3 the contractual ability to go exercise that approach. Okay, so we're just responding to that. Yes.
So my question is about the Math Alive exhibit.
Okay.
So your sponsorship of that, was that part of your moving to Huntsville? So maybe the community outreach portion?
It's combined there, but I'll tell you what, my information is that launching the Math Alive initiative at the Rocket Center was already in the books. Like, it kind of made sense. The same way that the Sum of All Thrills was matched at the Epcot Center. The Sum of All Thrills is more of a roller coaster ride type of exhibit. So of course it makes sense to be in Disney, right? So they match it that way. And by the way, that's exactly how it works. Sum of All Thrills, you literally design a ride like you're in this machine that you're gonna be spun up, okay? And you decide like, okay, how fast am I gonna be spun up? And the machine tells you, hey, you're gonna be accelerated this bad, this good, this way. You literally have big directions and whatnot. You save that profile, you save that, put it on the machine, and then you go in line. And when you get there, you got your name. It's like, hey, Angel. It's like, oh yeah, we got your ride right here. They literally load this ride, like software load. You get on this thing, they strap you on, and guess what? Get ready. You're gonna be spun up like you designed. So I think it's the coolest. So Math Alive, again, taking that to the next level in terms of projecting more aspects of math and science, because Sum of All Thrills is all about that ride, like I said. Math Alive, if you've seen it, it has multiple stops or multiple stations, right? So it's more variety. But I think it makes sense to start here. Like I said, it's going to be, in the next 3 years, it's going to 10 different cities. I don't know the 10 cities, but I know we're going 10 places.
If you like roller coasters, the Math Moves You website, you can actually go and build your own Sum of All Thrills roller coaster. It's a great way to spend an hour in your office.
Oh yeah. Not that you have done it.
I've just heard that.
That's awesome.
Does anybody have any last final questions or comments?
Do you do research there, or do you just build them?
We have, so Raytheon, so let me answer that. Raytheon, we are 72,000 people strong, worldwide. And we're divided in 6 business units, 6 different business units. There is a unit called Raytheon Missile Systems. That's the one I work for, and therefore coming here to Redstone. The missile system unit is about 11,000 people strong. So out of the 72,000, 11,000 are housed under missile systems. Under that, we do anything from concept development, prototyping, engineering, detailed design, critical design, manufacturing design, initial manufacturing, manufacturing and test, deployment, maintenance, logistics, and then program closeout. So in other words, alpha, omega, we do it, okay? The development and the research and development that we do related to specific missile systems happens for the most part in Canoga Park, California, and Tucson, Arizona for the most part. Tucson is a site about 8,000 people strong. That's where I come from. So it's a campus kind of co-located, and think about it, 8,000 people in the same campus. Out of those 8,000, 5,000 happen to be engineers or physicists for the most part. So you know, talking about engineering and science, that's what it all happens really. Then we move to Redstone. Initially here, our mission is solely integration, so no development. Okay. Going forward, however, our Raytheon presence is growing here quickly. Every week, we're actually bringing people from the west, like me, and coming from Tucson and moving here in Huntsville, because we're starting to do some development activities at a facility that we already had here, which is at John Davis Drive, very close from here. In that facility, we're starting to do some of the development activities, which eventually will go into the factory and use the factory resources, okay, to augment the development and the design and the engineering.
Hi. What are you doing with local schools?
Local schools?
Yeah. You
know, I've been here, let's see, I moved in the first week of September. Last week, I'll tell you this, the factory actually got involved with there was a Lego competition last week at Madison, the Madison School District and Hampton Cove. And I couldn't go because I had to go work. But I really wanted to go. I think we had about 12 of our employees that got engaged with that and participated. They had their picture to show it, so I could believe them that they really did that. But locally at Raytheon, in the actual community here, I'm actually not as versed yet. I can tell you what we, the factory, are doing, and that's why I gave you that example. I don't know if you can.
We'll get more detailed information from Doug as some of their initiatives play out, and I would be happy to touch base with whomever.
Yeah, well, real quick, I can tell you we have different employee resource groups, and some of those groups are involved in mentoring students, tutoring students, and there's some other initiatives the employees are looking at. So it's kind of across several different areas, but we're certainly involved with local students and always looking for other possibilities and other efforts that our employees can be involved with. the company locally contributes financial dollars, but we also want to have employees helping out. You know, everybody needs money, but we think employees helping, volunteering, that's certainly very important as well. So